Welcome to Handling Data Safely at UB. After taking this introduction to data handling, you should understand the types of data we handle at UB, the policies that govern the handling of data, and which additional courses you should take. UB is a public institution. That means that most, but not all, of the data we have is public data. If the public wants it, we're obligated by law to give it to them. However, there's a lot of data that we aren't obligated or even allowed to hand out. If someone asks for it, we won't give it to them. The rest of this course will help you understand what those types of data are, so you will be better able to protect them. For example, many of us deal with some of the following types of data while working at UB, such as personnel records, medical records, student records, social security numbers, or financial account numbers. Although UB is a public institution, these types of data are restricted by law and we are not allowed to make them public. This list contains only a few examples and isn't comprehensive. At UB, we've divided non-public data into two broad categories: regulated private data and sensitive data. We do this based on the risk associated with handling various types of data. For example, certain types of data, such as social security numbers, have specific penalties associated with mishandling them. Since the cost to the university is both high and also fairly easy to understand, we place social security numbers in the regulated private data category. There are other types of data, such as student or personnel records, that the penalties for mishandling are not clear or well defined. We place those types of data in the sensitive data category. The regulated private data category contains a small and specific number of items based on laws requiring us to protect them. They are social security numbers, which many of us deal with each day when processing student account records and personnel transactions. Financial account numbers, like credit and debit card numbers, which are frequently used to process payments from students. State-issued driver's license numbers or other state-issued identification numbers. These are often collected when hiring an employee or when issuing a computer account in order to establish the person's identity. Computer access data, such as usernames and password combinations. And protected health information, which is sometimes handled during a personnel transaction but is also frequently seen in portions of UB's medical school. The proper handling of regulated private data is governed by the UB Protection of Regulated Private Data policy. We are also required to protect sensitive data either by law or by contract. This category is often subjective, and so we can't give a simple list of what it contains. A few examples of things that would be considered sensitive are your personnel record, records kept by UB Police regarding ongoing investigations, information that might be unsafe to make publicly available, such as building floor plans or storage locations of dangerous materials, exam questions and answers before the exam is given, intellectual property that we've agreed to protect. These are sometimes called non-disclosure agreements, student records such as grades, and so on. The list is fairly lengthy, and you can see how some of the categories require careful thought to determine what should be included in them. The best course of action is not to give out information that you aren't certain should be released. It's always better to ask first than be sorry later. It's UB's policy to comply with federal FERPA law regarding the handling of student education records, federal HIPAA law regarding the handling of medical records, and state freedom of information law regarding the handling of non-public information. Now that you've learned about the varieties of data that we handle at UB, you should use the following roadmap to learn more about the data that you handle as part of your job. If you handle any of the regulated private data elements, such as social security numbers, state-issued drivers and non-drivers identification numbers, financial account numbers, computer access codes such as passwords or protected health information, then you should take the Handling Regulated Private Data unit to learn how to properly access, collect, store, transmit, and destroy those types of data. If you handle sensitive data such as student records, grades, or interact with students academically, then you should take the Understanding FERPA unit. If you handle other types of sensitive information, you should take the Understanding Sensitive Information unit. If you process credit card transactions in any way, you should take the Payment Card Industry Data Security unit. These units are available on the left-hand side of the UB Learns page you accessed to get to this overview. If you have any questions or aren't sure which units you should complete, please contact the Information Security Office at sec-office@buffalo.edu. Please select one of the left-hand links to learn more about a particular topic. You may return to this overview at any time to review this information.